Yay! Welcome to the Aries full moon alchemy activation. I am so grateful to be here, activating into something new and letting go of something old. We've had a beautiful conversation here, and I just wanted to record this also for those of you who weren't able to jump in last minute with me. In typical Aries fashion, I planned this one day before we came live. And so I'm so grateful that so many of you have shown up last minute to really move through some of these energies. And so we're going to talk about Aries and what that means. I'm going to go into a little bit of an astrology conversation, and then we're going to set a ritual space and do some deep, powerful healing astrology magic here, connecting to God's source energy to bring through the light. Because the energy of Aries is the war god. And war doesn't necessarily mean bad or wrong. I mean, but like big out of control wars are very triggering. So realizing that this is the energy of confrontation that we're in right now. This is also the energy of excavation. And so we get to choose to bring that, to de-escalate the confrontations in our lives and call in the support of Mercury for clear communication. The sign of Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is currently in Scorpio, and Mercury is just moving into Scorpio as the moon is moving into fullness. And that means that Mercury is also squaring Pluto, which is the ruling sign of Scorpio. And so we have some really powerful conversations going on in the heavens right now. And in spite of the fact that both Scorpio was traditionally ruled by Mars before Pluto was discovered. And so both Scorpio and Mars have the energy of confrontation. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with confrontation. So many of us are afraid of confrontation, and thereby we allow ourselves to be a doormat, right? And so to really look at what needs to be confronted within me right now so that I can reclaim my power, so that, as Patricia said, I can reclaim the love for myself, the respect for myself. And it doesn't mean that you're not respecting others. When you respect and love yourself, you are more likely to treat others with respect. Those who perpetrate violence and harm onto others usually do not have great respect for themselves, even if they go around saying they do. They're usually in a big state of bravado. So thinking of what needs to be confronted, what can I take a stand for, what can I put a stake in the ground for, is a really good conversation to have with yourself at this time in this powerful astrological alignment that we are right in the midst of. As I'm recording this, it is 2:40 p.m. Pacific time, and the apex of the full moon, which is where it will be exactly in the alignment I'm talking about, is at 8:50 p.m. tonight. So just 6 hours from now. We are in the midst of these energies, friends. And it's such a powerful time to gather in ritual together, and remembering that where two or more are gathered, there is God presence. And knowing that even when you think you're alone, you are not, because there are sentient beings all around you always. And so call in this ritual space whenever you need it. And this is why I'm recording this, so that these tools that I'm bringing through can be utilized to the improvement of our world through each and every person who comes into this space, whether you're here with me live, and those of you who are know how much I value you helping me hold this space for yourself, for your own healing, for your loved ones, and for the greater collective of the whole, because we are not separate. And so Aries is also about identity. This is about separating false identities, cutting away or burning away, tempering yourself to your true identity. How do you know your true identity? Again, by talking to God as you know them. God, presence, knows you to be the most perfect creation for your particular life's journey. So ask, if you are having a hard time seeing yourself, your true identity, your original nature, ask in your prayer, in your spiritual practice, ask your soul to show you how you are seen by the Creator, by that higher power that holds the web of consciousness unified and helps us to purify and cut away those energies that are not serving that highest good. So that's what this ritual is all about. And we are going to do some astrology magic here and create a talisman that you can bring in. You can call in the energies of these planets. We're going to be working with Mars and Mercury and the moon. There are other planets we could work with, but for this particular ritual, those three are enough. We are right now, we are in what's called the planetary hour of the moon for today, which means we are actually in a space and time that is the energy of this full moon is rising towards its fullness. And so we can grab on and be lifted by it into that fullness. And so I highly encourage, whatever your time zone is, that when the moon is out, not worrying about when the moon is at its fullness, but when the moon is out in your sky where you are, I highly recommend going into the moonlight and bathing in it. And that doesn't mean you have to take all your clothes off and expose all your skin. But when you are in the moonlight absorbing it, you actually will physically receive energy. Mona, were you trying to ask a question right now, dear? You're muted.
I apologize. Hate to interrupt, but I got an emergency phone call. That one that I was telling you about, that
Oh,
we've only known a couple days.
okay.
Yeah, we need to go.
Oh,
If
okay.
yeah,
Oh, I
to
thought
the
you
ho-
had
there.
something to ask about this, but I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
I'll get you the replay
you
then,
could
my
you
dear.
could say you please, and if you just say a little prayer,
Yes.
that they go peacefully. Okay,
Yes.
sorry, love
No
you.
worries.
I really want
Love
to be
you.
here, but this
Hey,
is why I
take
feel
care
like
of
I've been.
yourself. I love you. So, such a really powerful synchronicity that Mona is called away in this time when I'm in the midst of talking about the energies of confrontation. And so we will definitely be, let's just take a moment to pray for Mona and her family and her loved ones, that the conflict, the emergency that has arisen. Dear God, Mother, Father, spirits of the four directions, holy people, thank you for putting a circle of protection around my dear friend Mona and her beloved family. Help them. Thank you for helping them to resolve this conflict peacefully that has presented itself right in the midst of this Aries moon energy. Thank you to Aries, God of war. You also know how to negotiate. You also know how to be diplomatic, especially with Mercury at your side, calling in Mercury at the side of Mars to soften the energy. And as this is on the recording, we will have the support of all those who watch the recording in the future in this prayer. So, okay. So, creating a talisman, Mars and Mercury are the planets that we will be calling in to work with us. So, similar to that short prayer, we'll be calling in Mars. And for your Mars talisman, it's recommended to have metal. So, I recommended a coin because Aries is not only the god of war, Aries is more importantly the god of initiation and creation and manifestation and action. And so the talisman that we create with a coin activates within us that feeling of manifestation. And the element of metal, it works with Mars. And Mars is also about cutting. And I felt called to bring an arrowhead which symbolizes piercing the veil, cutting away that necrosis, that the fresh blood can flow to the tissue and the healing can occur. And so I will be creating a double Mars um, talisman in that way and using these throughout this lunar cycle to really keep myself focused in my action, clear focus into what is the manifestation. So tuning into what needs to be cut away, what obstacles need to be cleared out of my path in order for this manifestation to be in my ease and flow rather than feeling like I'm struggling to break the surface of the water or wading through muck. And now with Mercury, it's recommended to bring a gem or a crystal. And I brought this stone, which looks very dark and black when it's not in the light. And then as you can see, when I hold it up to the light, the clarity comes through. Mercury brings clarity and skill and stabilizing communication. And I feel this dark crystal really connects to the scorpionic energy that Mars and Mercury are both traversing through at this time. The scorpionic energy we know as a very emotional and sensual, sexual, even type of energy. Scorpio is the scorpion and also the phoenix rising from the ashes. So when we think of the moon in Aries burning away what no longer serves us, we can think of Mars and Mercury rising in Scorpio from the ashes to transmute whatever that obstacle, that struggle for many of us It's forgiveness, being able to let go of resentments can completely block us from claiming our power and our personal magic in this world, our ability to bring through our birthright of creative power, because we are God in human form, here to create in the physical plane so that God can experience life in all its myriad of forms, because God desires to be in joy and manifestation and procreation and all of the many varied ways that we experience life. And Scorpio is also the veil of death, of life and death. And we are moving from Libra season into Scorpio right now. So we are moving into the time that the veils are growing thin and those ancestral energies are coming forward to be seen, to be felt, to be honored and witnessed. And so many of these patterns that we're experiencing are not just from our life, but are from generations, are carried in our bloodlines. And so the idea that we can, through our intentions in this ritual space, cut away the patterns that have blocked us from living our highest version, from co-creating the world as God sees it in all of its beauty of myriad forms, contributing to that greater vision that so many of us have to be in liberation, and then bringing in the clarity and the ability of these instruments that we can hold in our hands to hold memory should not be discounted. We can bring in the clarity and the intention and then walk with it and remember those prayers, hold on to the talisman to remind us of the intention so that we don't lose sight of who we truly are, and we can remember that identity that is our Aries. Aries, like I said, is that self identity. And we can remember the true identity that we came in here versus the false identity that has been put onto us by society and life circumstances. And we come to believe things that aren't true. And so may we, through this ritual, strip away the lies, any lies that we've been believing, and see clearly the truth and see clearly the path forward, because Aries is action. Aries is fast action. That's why me, with my Mars in Aries about to be activated by the moon in Aries, jumped into creating this offering for you yesterday and came on here Zoom, and I'm just bringing it through live and raw and real for you, friends, because that's the way Mars works. That's the way Aries works. And Mars is the planet of action, and Mars in Aries moves fast and starts things. Sometimes being a Mars in Aries, I can tell you, often starts many things before finishing any one of them. And that's okay, because continuing to take right action towards your goal, you will get there. And so that's why having an anchor, which is what these talismans are, is creating an anchor for yourself so that you can ground it into your perceived reality. And I also brought frankincense. Essential oils can help because we bring in all of our senses then, and all of our senses are designed to help us perceive reality. And we have our senses that perceive the physical reality, and then we have our senses that perceive the subtle reality, the energetic senses, the spiritual senses. And to me, frankincense is like a bridge frankincense being one of the gifts that the Magi brought to Jesus when he was born, frankincense being a really powerful healing medicine that can take away skin lesions and really heal us from the inside out or from the outside in, because our skin will absorb it and take it into where it needs to take care of things. And so it connects to me, frankincense is a powerful connection to all levels of existence. And that's why I chose frankincense. And then I am going to also use rose water, and I'm going to use some. My brain forgets names sometimes. I have no idea why I'm forgetting the name of this wood, Palo Santo. And I have a little teeny tiny bit of my precious fire sage, I call it. It's white sage from a place that escaped a really powerful fire in Paradise, California. So you may choose to physically engage with me in anointing a talisman for yourself, or you may choose to do it energetically within your heart if that feels more right to you, knowing that however you choose to integrate this ritual is perfect. All of these are suggestions. I also have water, which is, of course, for drinking. And also, because the water element is connecting to Scorpio, and to me, having Mars in Scorpio, and Scorpio is kind of alchemy in and of itself. When we talk about energetic alchemy, the way that the Chinese medicine practitioners talk about it, you're taking the fire element within your body and putting it underneath the water element. To me, this is kind of feels like Scorpio already, and especially Mars in Scorpio, and or moon in Aries, because the moon is water element and Aries is fire element. Meanwhile, Scorpio is water element and Mars is fire element. So on both sides, and both of the all of the energies that we're working with, of course, Mercury is considered air element, and it's in Scorpio as well. Um, so I will probably also use some sound, the metal of Mars connecting with the air of Mercury here, and the water of Scorpio, but also the water of the world, because water is the element of life. And, you know, in the Bible, it talks about when God created the world, he split the waters above from the waters below and laid the firmament and all of these things. Regardless of your belief system, the fact is that water is everywhere. It is the primary element of life. It's the only thing that we need to live. Like, we can go without food for months if we have water. We can only live a few minutes without air, so breath is the primary nutrient of life. But water is the primary essence of our physical reality, not just life, but this physical reality on Earth. 70 or more percent water. Babies are like 90% water or something. And so really working with the water element is really important. And talking to your water is really important, because water holds consciousness, and you can work with your own physical body by talking to the water inside your body and asking it to help you. If you have any physical ailments that you would like help taking care of, you can ask God, your guides, the angels, and the water to help you with that. And so we begin. I am going to do a very brief screen share, and then we'll dive right into the ritual. So this is the current planets. Can someone give me a thumbs up that you can see this? This is the current planets. I'm actually going to refresh this. If you ever want to look at the current planets, where they are in the sky, I like to use astro-seek.com. And I'm just going to refresh it because this was right before we came on the call. And I'm just going to make sure it's like up to the minute. So it's shifting a little bit. But what strikes me the most about this chart is that we have this double yod, they call this, and I'm not really going to go into that too much. And we have this kite is kind of coming apart. The kite was really solid this morning. I've been watching it all day. But notice how we have like these two arrows going across the chart. And this one here is the moon and Uranus in Mars. And this one here is Venus and the south node in Virgo. And so I'm feeling Venus is also coming in. Venus in Virgo is also coming in really strongly. Now over here on this corner of this second arrow that's pointing at Venus, that's why I say it's so strongly activated, is Mars and Mercury that I was talking about. And also Black Moon Lilith, which is like a shadow of the moon and connects, again, it being in Scorpio, it's really connecting to that deep scorpionic transmutation energy here. And right in between, of course, the sun is opposite the moon because that's what happens at the full moon. And so there's an energy of illuminating something that might not otherwise be seen at this time. And that Venus in Virgo is really bringing in beauty and focus on our own personal health. So we can also invite in Venus to help us with the focus on our own personal health, if that's something that's alive for you. And I'm not going to go into all of the planets here. This is going to shift slightly by the time of the full moon, but most of these things will still be here. And then because we have Pluto in Aquarius right now, it's at 1 degree. So anything that goes into Scorpio is going to go into a square with Pluto. So right now it's Mercury. Very recently it was Mars. And so there's this energy of bringing of, again, excavation. Pluto is really about excavation and going deep into the underworld to bring to light what needs to be witnessed. So in this ritual, I really invite you to look at what comes up that needs to be acknowledged in your life. So I just kind of wanted to show you what I'm looking at. I don't want to go too deep into this because it could become an entire astrology lesson. And so we're going to go into our ritual space now. So I'm going to begin the prayer, and I invite you all, if you brought a candle, to light the candle at the beginning of the prayer and just kind of follow along. Do what feels right to you. You can just receive and not do anything. That is okay too. My mom loves these, she calls them Blessed Mother candles, and I just really thought this was the perfect candle to bring because to me, this effigy of Mother Mary that is Our Lady of Guadalupe, La Virgen de Guadalupe, brings forth the connection between magic and religion, the connecting points of the traditions of indigenous and modern traditions. For me, that's what it really evokes, as well as that divine mother energy, that divine feminine that we were talking about with Scorpio. So, dropping into your breath, feeling that you are being breathed by the divine. Oh, Holy Father, Blessed Mother, spirits of the four directions, elements, fire, earth, wind, water, trees, stones, and the pure spirit that animates our physical form, that enters our body at conception and leaves when we exhale our last breath. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for surrounding us in your unconditional love and acceptance as we activate our highest intentions for forgiveness, for healing, for manifestation. Thank you, Mother Moon, as you pass through the sign of Aries in your fullest. Thank you for shining your light down onto us, into us, and illuminating what has been in the shadow that needs to be brought to the surface, to be cleared, to be healed, to be transmuted, to be embodied, to be walked with into the next stage of our life, whatever that looks like for each one of us in this sacred circle. Thank you. Thank you, Mars, the divine archetype of masculinity, for bringing in your fire, your stone steadfastness, your energy of starting and new beginnings. Thank you for coming to us through the deep waters of Scorpio to help us excavate our deepest wounds, to bring forth the fresh blood that will purify us and bring those healing nutrients where they're needed most. Thank you for bringing us into action with confidence and helping us to take those divinely appointed actions that will bring us into our next manifestation, whatever that looks like for each one of us. Thank you for your strong presence in our circle, Father Mars. Thank you, Brother Mercury, for bringing your clarity of communication, for bringing your skill and helping us to cultivate our skill our communication skills, our skills in our trades in this life, our skills in transmuting resentment into clear, healthy boundaries spoken with loving kindness, especially to ourselves. Thank you for stabilizing our communication, that we may heal relationships that we thought were just too far gone, that we can let go of resentments and free up our voice to speak our truth with clarity and poise. And thank you for helping us activate into our legacy what we are creating here in this life. Thank you. And thank you, Venus, goddess of beauty and abundance, for being with us in our circle, where you sit in the place of personal health and our focusing on our home and our family. Thank you for being with us to help us see the beauty even in the times of challenge. Thank you. And thank you, Pluto, god of the underworld, for helping us dig deep today, helping us connect to what is in the shadow that needs to be brought to the light, knowing that because it's in the shadow doesn't mean it's bad or scary, it's just hidden. Thank you for helping us see clearly what needs to be purged from us, that we can be cleansed and clear and reclaiming our energy to move forward in this life. Thank you. And again, I will continue to purify our space with this rose water. I invite the sweetness of life, calling in the ancestral energies to bring forth the gifts in our bloodline, as well as healing ancestral wounds, that we may see ourselves renewed into our original nature. And thank you to the precious Palo Santo for blessing us with purification and healing. And through this smoke rising, may the forests be blessed with long life and health. And may those who harvest the wood from the forests do so with consciousness of the importance of all life in this sacred circle. Purifying with the sacred sage. Feeling the energy of piercing to the heart of the matter, coming in, along with creating a circle of protection around each one of us present here live or on the replay, and also remembering my dear friend Mona in the conflict that she's dealing with right now, circle of protection around her. Now, as we connect with the breath, let's commune first with the water and the moon. You may choose to hold a glass of water in your hands or just visualize the water element where it is within, without, and all around you in all life, beneath the surface of the earth, in the oceans and waterways of the world, in the air we breathe, the clouds, the atmosphere. Even to the farthest reaches of the universe is the water. Holy water, mother of us all. Holy water, element of the moon, thank you for your presence. May the waters everywhere be blessed by our prayers with purity, with living energy flowing through them, that all life may be sustained. Take a sip of water if you like. And see it integrating into your cellular and DNA structure. See yourself healing. See the water of life activating within you, becoming more alive as your cells know how to restructure the water you drink into the optimal hydration within your cells. See the beautiful full moon before you. See her as the goddess of purity and illumination that she is. Invite her into a conversation. Dear moon, thank you for lighting up our skies. Thank you for showing us the beauty of traveling through shadow and light. We know that every month you travel into your shadow and return to illuminate us with your presence. Help us to be illuminated in your presence into our highest versions. Help us to have the courage to look into the darkest shadows and see what we have been hiding from ourselves, what we need to look at in order to heal completely and walk forth into our next manifestation. Thank you. If you feel called to hold any crystals or stones and activate them with your intention, later you can put them out to be directly charged by the full moonlight. Perhaps you choose to anoint that stone or crystal with your essential oil. Or perhaps you choose to anoint yourself at the third eye center, the crown, throat, any other centers that are feeling called to be anointed with full moon energy. Now inviting Mars, ruler of Aries, into the conversation, taking your coin or piece of metal that you have brought to be imbued with Martian energy. Thank you, Mars, for helping us to step forth in courage and confidence into the next manifestation that is our soul's calling. Oh, as you travel close to the sun, bring that energy of heat and fire to our hearts. Reignite the passion, the artistry within our hearts that we can feel inspired on a daily basis to create, to take action towards our highest goals, to take action with joy, even when it's towards our mundane day to day. Thank you for bringing joy into our activation. Thank you for bringing joy into our work, that each and every day we can look on it with fresh eyes like you do. Like this isn't another day of the same old slog. This is a new day with new tasks, with new steps, with new beginnings. Thank you for bringing that energy into us and grounding it in that we can walk with it in these coming days. Anointing with a drop of your oil, your talisman, feeling that the oil is activating even more that energy of Mars. And thank you, Mars, for helping us, especially where you are in Scorpio, to excavate our old wounds, to dig out the festering splinters of resentment and frustration and be purified and clear, that fresh blood can flow through us towards this greater manifestation that we're here working towards, and we won't get slogged down in the details of life. We won't be easily offended by others' words, but will be as freshly oiled metal, shedding water, gathering water, and walking again with confidence and courage towards that highest manifestation. Thank you. And now seeing Mercury before you as the messenger god, the messenger from sun to earth and back, taking a hold of your talisman. Thank you, Mercury, for blessing my voice, blessing my words with clarity and truth, blessing my voice with knowing when to speak and when to be silent, blessing my communication that it lands on ears that hear, blessing my ears that I hear the communication from others as it's intended, even if it didn't come through with the most clear presentation, that I can receive the essence of the communications given to me, and that I can utilize the communication that comes towards my highest good, and I can let go of any communication that isn't actually serving me. Thank you, Mercury, for helping me develop my skill of communication and my skills of creation, that I can utilize this energy towards my legacy, whatever that is for each one of us. Thank you, Mercury, for walking with me in these coming days, bringing your molten energy to temper me to be more on the outside what I am on the inside, more fully expressed as the soul that I know I truly am. And with that courage from Mars, that I can step forth and bring my true message to the world, and that those who need to hear it will come forth to receive that message. Thank you. Anointing your stone with a drop of oil or your gem or crystal talisman. Now we're going to take some breaths in silence together so that you can receive the messages and wisdom from these planetary entities that is here for you. So as we drop in even deeper here, you may choose to hold your talismans or to hold your water and just invite the presence of the planetary entity that you feel most called to commune with in this moment. It may be that you invite them all as a council, or there's one particular energy that you're feeling called to commune with. See that presence before you. See the archetype of Mars, of Mercury, or perhaps Venus or Pluto or the moon steps forth to work with you directly. Ask any questions that come to you of this entity, or just bask in their presence and receive whatever wisdom comes forth for you. When I feel we've reached the end of our communion time, I will ring the bell again. Allow yourself to go deep, as if the waters of Scorpio are drawing you into the well of your soul. Follow the breath within. Return your awareness to the breath. Feel as if the breath is being breathed into you. All you have to do is open and receive the breath. As we were in the meditation, Mercury and Mars showed me how they can become as your right and left hands, communication and action, vision and implementation, reflection and creation, allowing them to work with you behind the scenes. I could feel them restructuring my DNA for what is to come. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share in sacred space. I will now close the circle. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, all the holy peoples who have shown up to support our transformation today. Thank you to the elementals. Thank you to the guides and angels. And thank you to the humans who participated in this ritual today. Thank you for continuing to work with us in the ways that you know how, that will cultivate us to be the best selves that we can and to love ourselves the way that we were meant to love, with abandon, with joy, with freedom. Help us to be fully realized and liberated in this life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. So it is. I am also, before I close out the recording and after I close out the recording, I'd love to hear from those of you here live. So stick around if you can. If you have to go, I understand. This went a little longer than I expected. And I have decided to offer a flash sale of personal one-to-one healing sessions. A 90-minute emotional alchemy session would normally go for $250 to $333. Right now, I am offering them for $88, and if you buy one, you can get a second one for $44. And I will, you can let me know if you want that link. I will also be sending it out with the replay if you're on my email list. And I am also offering my intuitive astrology readings, where we put your astrology next to the current transits at, I usually do these sessions for $88. I'm going to do half price for $44, and you can get a second astrology reading for just $33 if you buy the first one. And I just wanted to put that on the recording before I close it out. So anyone who watches this replay will also qualify for this deep, deep discount of my one-to-one services. And for everyone else, there will be another deal that's not quite so deep. this one will be around for probably until the new moon. And thank you for requesting that, Cynthia. I will go grab those links before we close out. And for those of you on the replay, the links will be with the replay. All right, my friends, I'm going to stop the recording, and I'd love to connect with those of you who are